is Dialmformurder for 1954, and it's also directed by his score. So I think Grace Kelly from Rear Window is in there, so it's a big girl. This was it. Yeah, it's in color. Yeah, she is. Queen Mary arrives today. It's the name of the ship. The intimate.
Before Tony comes, I ought to explain something. I haven't told him anything about us. Telephone this morning, I simply said you wrote crime stories and I...
Darling, I understand now, but that doesn't stop me from loving you.
Yeah.
Tony standing in the hall with all his bags and tennis rackets. He just said he decided to give up tennis and settle down to a job. He's been wonderful ever since.
I suppose that's when you stopped writing me.
Do you remember the letters you wrote to me? After I read them, I burnt them. All except one. You'll probably know the one I mean.
The one?
It was stolen.
Stolen? By who?
Platform, I noticed my handbag was missing. And the letter was inside Victoria Station.
Uh-oh.
I recovered the handbag about 2 weeks later from the lost and
Never.
found.
Letter never
The
found.
letter wasn't there.
Okay.
He told me what I had to do to get the letter back.
Ransom.
It said that if I went to the police, he would show the letter to my husband.
Who is this guy? Threatening, blackmailing. I know what the specific contents of the letter was.
One could have done this.
And 2 days later, I got this one.
You didn't mail the money.
Yes.
Mark.
But the letter was never returned.
Oh,
So after all was still there, it had never been opened.
interesting.
As it was only £50, I thought I'd pay up and have done with it.
Well-
And Tony's changed.
Hmm.
Please.
It's going to be a rough evening. All of us saying nice things to each other. Why didn't you burn that letter, too?
Okay. Is that Tony?
Tony, this is Mark Halliday.
Hello,
Tony,
Mark.
hello.
I'm
Yes,
terribly
Tony.
sorry to be so... You write for the radio, don't you?
No television, for my sins.
Old man Burgess is flying to Brussels on Sunday, and I have to get my monthly report in by tomorrow. Fake half of it as it is.
Okay.
Over here are the tickets.
Oh, thanks, Tony.
I'm afraid this is terribly rude of me.
Well, not at all.
What are you doing tomorrow night?
Saturday? Nothing I know of.
Well, how'd you like to come to a stag party? We've been playing tennis all over the continent, and we're giving them
Okay.
a sort of farewell
Stag party.
present.
See, well, I'm not much
Seems like
tennis
fun.
player.
So long, darling.
Enjoy yourself. Have a good time.
Thanks.
Closing the curtains. So what's he going to do now?
Could I speak to Captain Lesgett, please? I understand you have a car for sale. 1100, I see.
Like to
Well,
buy a
certainly
car?
it's just a job. I'm afraid I can't manage that. No, I can't. Say, you couldn't come round to my flat tonight.
Now?
My knee rather badly.
Really?
Well, that doesn't matter. I had a good look at it.
Okay. Why would he be using gloves? Okay, pretending to limp. Okay, someone's coming.
Yes, Captain Lesgett.
Yes.
Won't you come in? Having difficulty finding your way?
No, none at all. I've seen you before somewhere.
No, it's funny you should mention that. You're not Lesgett. Swan. C.J. Swan. Always at C.A.
We meet.
Weren't you at Cambridge?
Yes.
So they met each
20
other.
years ago.
Coincidence.
Yes, it's called for a special drink.
By the way, how do you know my car's for sale?
Your garage told me.
I mentioned it to anyone there.
I was stopping for a
Bargain, drunk or sober.
So do I.
Is he going to kill this guy?
What's all this about Fisher?
What's all this about Lesgett? At college, you always used to smoke rather expensive cigars. Taken at a reunion dinner. Biggest cigar in the business.
Well, that's the first and last reunion I ever went
Well,
to.
the ticket money was stolen, wasn't it?
That's right, almost £100. Yeah, they found the cash box in his back garden.
But not the money.
20 years ago.
I've given up tennis, or rather tennis gave me up. I feel like blowing £1,000 in your car.
1100.
I was married for money.
Yes, I suppose some people make a business out of that.
Tried to make me give up tennis and play husband instead. For one thing, she wasn't in love with me anymore. Walked back on my tracks. 10 minutes later, she came out of this house and took a taxi. A school friend lived in the studio in Chelsea. They just looked very natural together. Funny how you can tell when people are in love. Find some way of earning a living to begin with. Now, big tennis had finished with me, and so apparently had my wife. I thought of all
They
sorts
paired lap out.
different ways of killing him. I
Killing
even
him.
thought of killing
Okay.
her. That seemed to far
Might
how I
that seems
could do
darker.
it. I changed my mind.
Oh, an American?
Yes. There were long letters from there. He burned them all except one. They were from handbag to handbag. He was always with her. To find out what was in it. And finally, I did.
Is he the one
That
doing
letter had
it?
very interesting.
I'm
No doubt
blackmailing.
sent it back. So I kept the letter
He got the letter after all.
because you're the only person I can trust. Anyway, that did it. Sat in that Knightsbridge pub, actually planning to murder her. And I might have done it.
Well, what did you see?
I saw you.
What?
During the war. A year in prison. That was new. Though everybody knew you took that money.
Interesting hearing about your
He's trying
matrimonial
to go.
affair.
Our wills, quite short affairs, leaving everything we had to each other.
So I lie about the leg.
It's over 90,000 pounds. I need an alibi. Wondered what happened to people when they came out of prison. People like you, I mean. I was hoping that sooner or later I might catch you at something and be able to,
Blackmail me?
after pick up a hobby, and the more you get to know it, the more fascinating it becomes. To go to the dog racing Mondays and Thursdays, just to be near you.
What
Board was
happened?
swamped, any
Stalking.
crime in
In
it.
fact, there was nothing really illegal about you. One day you disappeared from your lodging. Mr. Adams owed her 6 weeks' rent and her best lodger £55. Oh, boy, if you want another drink, do you mind putting on these gloves? Now, where were we? Oh, yes, I'd lost you. And I used to take Miss Wallace out on Wednesdays and Sundays. She certainly was in love with you, wasn't she? As it is Van Dorn. Her late husband left her 2 hotels and a lodge. Does rather enjoy being courted. Perhaps that's why I've been trying to sell her car for over a month. She only wanted 800.
Nearest police station.
Opposite the church, you think?
Waiting.
All about Mr. Adams and Mr. Wilson.
You're trying to blackmail me
Into
murdering your wife. Followed her to that studio in Chelsea and watched them cooking spaghetti and all that rubbish.
why should you steal her handbag? Why should you write her all those blackmail notes?
He sent a
You
pin
proved
on
you
him.
didn't tonight half drunk and tried to borrow money on the strength that we were at college together. It has your fingerprints on it. Remember?
Yeah, right. Very smart.
Of landladies and lodgers who would step forward to testify to your character. Careful not to be seen around with her, I noticed. You were planning to marry Mrs. Van Dorn, weren't you?
Smart, aren't you?
For the same reason that a donkey with a stick behind him and a carrot in front always goes forwards and not backwards.
The
It's a good
carrot.
analogy.
£1,000
A murder.
for a few minutes' work.
Thousand.
All it is. Middle-aged woman found dead due to an overdose of something. But nobody knows where
Overdose.
she cash a case in a check room. Where in London? Of course,
London.
we don't meet again. The check room ticket and the key to the case. £100 on account.
To
You want
trace
to
one
do
of
it?
these
For
now.
a whole year, I've been cashing an extra £20 a week.
Let me see your bank statement.
It's very thorough.
Don't touch.
Your balance has dropped by over £1,000 during the year.
Go dog racing twice a week. Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow? Not a chance.
Yes.
I've got to think this over.
Approximately where you're standing now. Exactly 3 minutes to 11, you'll enter the house with the street door. Under the stair carpet here.
The 5th step.
That's the hide behind the curtain. 11 o'clock. I should go to the telephone in the
Very
box.
meticulous.
So don't move until she answers the phone. Give me a soft whistle and hang up. Don't speak whatever you do. I shan't say a word.
So
When
whistle.
I open it and tip the clothes out onto the floor. But don't snap the locks.
I left in a hurry.
That's the idea. Now the window. And go out exactly the same way you came in.
Yeah. So meticulously
door.
planned.
Return the key to the place where you found it.
Under the stair carpet.
You realized you'd actually killed her. You panicked, bolted through the garden, and left the loot behind you. She often takes a walk around the garden before she goes to bed, and she usually forgets to lock up when she gets back.
Usually.
She isn't going to say anything, is she? Street door is never locked. About
Never
12,
locked.
Together since we left her. And there's my alibi.
So what about his alibi?
How will you get into the apartment?
I just let myself in. No, it won't be my key under the carpet. It'll be hers. So I'll leave the flat. She's not going out, so she won't miss it. While he's out searching the garden or something, her handbag before the police arrive. Hers and mine. Oh, hello, darling. How's it going? Well, I don't think so. I hardly seem to have started. You can be seen from the bedroom window.
Yeah.
Oh, the Albert Hall, of course. All right, dear. Enjoy yourself.
And take the money. Yeah.
I tell you. You should write a book about all this. Well, you forget detection and concentrate on crime. Crime's the thing. Yes, I usually put myself in the criminal's shoes, and I keep asking myself,
Even the perfect murder.
Yes, absolutely. On paper, that is. But I doubt if I could carry it out. Oh? They turn out the way the author wants them to, and in real life, they don't. Always. Realized till I found everybody was looking at me. You better drink up. Darling, did I lend you my latchkey?
I may have them both in my handbag. I'll just look. Are you sure yours isn't in your overcoat?
No, I've looked. May I borrow yours? Why?
Borrow.
I may want to go out before you so I can let you in.
Always put your key under the proverbial mat. Oh, it's all right. I glove all the time.
Well,
Taki.
that's it.
What movie are you going to for the weekend? And what about those clippings? It's an ideal opportunity.
You go gallivanting while I stay home and do those boring clippings.
You obviously don't want us to go out tonight, so we won't. We'll stay here with you instead. What should we do, play cards?
Please, let's not be childish about this. All right, I'll do your old press clippings.
It's time to bet now.
Some scissors.
Oh, they're in my mending basket.
Just need some money for the taxi.
Hey, you leave my bag alone. How much do you need anyway?
Well, let's see how much you spend, Bob, anyway.
Oh, what?
Taki.
I paid.
Okay.
There now.
Taxi's here.
Tony, What are you waiting for?
Oh, nothing, dear, nothing. I'll bring
And
Mark
it didn't
back
go
tonight.
exactly as
Will
planned.
you be up? You know, it's quite possible old man Burgess might call. Would you tell him we're at the... Goodbye, dear.
It's the last goodbye. There's the key. Here comes the hitman. I don't know why would you agree to this. I just stay by. Trying to strangle. Yes, distracted. Oh, great. Not at the same time.
Fellas at the right time.
Yes, I have 7 minutes past 11.
I'll make it only
Uh,
just after.
That didn't go exactly as planned. The time is there. Then she's trying to go out. Then, oh boy, just tell him the point. Oh boy, she hiding.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
You can't do it. Yes. Oh, because she's she's a bit lucky.
Darling, it's me.
Okay.
Go. Come back at once.
That's very suspicious why we're calling it as a one.
Darling, pull yourself together. What is...
There, let's call the police. I don't think you can play anymore.
Margot, don't touch anything. I'll be with you right away.
No. Yes, I promise. Only please be quick.
The husband going to come in and murder her again. I guess we'll see.
She's not feeling too well. Serious?
Not feeling
nothing
well,
serious.
really.
Just stay and enjoy. Perfectly all right.
Okay, I think he's going to kill her. I think he's pointing at him.
Oh, darling.
It's all right, darling. It's all right.
My throat. It felt like a stalk. I got out twice before. I almost passed out. I felt the citizen mark.
The key. He's probably put the key in her purse. Okay, he's trying to look for evidence.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to find my... Oh, here they are, my aspirin. Got this awful
Okay,
here.
thought she was going to find the key. The key, good one.
No, we mustn't touch anything until the police arrive. You must have broken in. Those cups, I expect.
When will the police get here?
Cups.
You told me not to speak to anyone.
About that, this was done by the one seller. You like feel so shocked. You can't do anything about it because he's been attempting to do this.
Did you tell him?
No, I didn't know what had happened. I just said
No.
that you weren't feeling well. Been a ghastly accident.
Yes, sir.
A man
Is
has
it
been
there?
killed.
Your address, sir? Was it an accident?
I don't know.
What do you mean, sir? You
I don't know, really. Oh, he's not telling the truth.
Any idea who might have done it?
How long will it take?
Oh, great.
Don't touch anything, will you, sir?
No, we won't touch anything. Goodbye.
They'll have to ask me
They
questions.
can wait until tomorrow. I'll tell them all they need to know.
He's getting
Yes.
Why did you
suspicious.
phone me?
What? He used a stocking.
I think it was a stocking.
Go on to bed.
Nobody trying to fall asleep at that time. And there it is. He's trying to conceal the murder weapon. So what's he trying to do? Running? Okay. I mean, she saw it, so... He must shot that one. Okay, he's touching everything. Really?
Tea, gentlemen?
Of course.
It's the other stocking.
Actually, interesting. I don't think movies do that anymore.
Let's get moving on.
Almost empty. Remind me to get some more. Always runs out just when we need it. We didn't phone the police immediately.
How could I? You were on
I
the telephone.
know, but I told him a slightly different story.
Different story, really.
Why?
It's because you naturally assumed that I would do it from the hotel. Little explanation, and he
Oh,
accepted
great.
it. In case it comes up again.
I'm a police officer. May I come in?
Of course.
He's trying to look for evidence.
Yes, I've seen his report, of course.
Do you mind if I take a look around, sir?
Go ahead, the bedroom and bathroom are through here.
You certainly didn't get in by the bathroom.
The kitchen has bars on the window. Assume he must have come in through these windows here. Curious coincidence, I was actually phoning my wife when she was
Okay.
attacked.
Yes, I gather.
Can
That's
you
when
tell
it
me
becomes
exactly what time it
suspicious.
was?
I do remember my watch had stopped.
There seems to be some confusion as to his real name. Had you ever seen him before?
Why, no, of course not. No, I never saw him.
But didn't you even catch a glimpse of his...
Dark, I hardly saw him at all.
Yes, but before...
As far as she knew, she never saw him before.
Was that what you meant?
Okay.
Yes.
Had you ever seen him before?
No.
No make a lot.
You're like someone I was at college with. Swan.
Okay. The
Here's
picture
an old photo
immediately.
taken at a reunion. We were at the same college together. About 6 months ago at a railway station.
6
Victoria,
months
I
ago.
think.
Wow.
I remember noticing how little
Remembering
he'd
the
changed.
specific details again. Just like the circle.
And I got up and I came in here.
Did you switch this light on?
No. And I picked up the phone.
Just one moment. Are you sure you had your back to the window like...
Why not?
Right?
I mean, why go round the desk?
If I have to write anything down, I can hold the phone in my left hand.
I'm sorry. Go on.
Thing round my neck.
Something? What do you mean by something?
I think it was a stocking.
I see.
Okay.
Now, what happened? Where were those scissors usually kept?
In that mending basket.
Did you draw them yourself?
No, Inspector. I drew them just before I went out.
Did you lock... got into this room?
Well, we assumed that he broke in.
Well, there's no sign of a
Yeah,
break.
yeah, no sign of
break-in.
break-in.
Why didn't you call the police immediately this happened?
Uh-oh. Yeah, this guy.
He thought that he would call the police from the hotel before he came here.
The story is ends.
He was dead.
How did you know that? Did you feel his pulse?
No, of course. Look at those staring eyes.
So you did see his face after all.
I saw his eyes.
As a matter of fact, we're quite certain that he came in by this door.
It's not
You opened that
Bob.
door at all after we'd gone?
Mine was in my handbag, and you had yours with you.
What makes you think he came in this way?
It's quite
Shoes.
obvious.
His shoes.
He'd come in by the garden, he'd have left mud all over the carpet. It's a fairly new mat, and some of its fibers came off on
Yeah.
his shoes.
I think I've got it.
What?
You remember when your bag was stolen?
I mean, I'd like to hear about it.
All the money was gone.
Anything else?
No.
Or letters?
No.
Are you?
Why?
And your
She
latch
lying
key was
about
in
that.
your hand.
Well, whoever stole the money could have copied the key.
Police station.
Wasn't that where you said you saw this man, sir?
When it made and then returned the original to the handbag.
No, before he
She upsetting that thing.
And he could have used it to open the door him when he died. But no key was found when we went through his pockets.
He took it.
Tony, Mark,
Oh, Mark, this is Inspector Hubbard. Inspector, this is Mark.
Did you notice what time it was he went to the phone?
just
Japan.
3 minutes after 11. Dennis's watch had stopped, and some of us...
Yeah, at the time.
Thank you, sir.
Did you telephone me last night?
Now, just one moment, before I lose...
Yes, I used the payphone in the lobby.
Now, how long were you on the telephone to your boss before you called your wife?
Number in the country, so I rang my wife to ask her to look it up in the address book on the desk. I wanted to remind him of something. It was rather important.
Wasn't there a telephone directory in the hotel?
Yes, but his country...
Ever been over here before, sir?
Yes, about a year ago.
I'm afraid the gate may be locked. Would you mind taking a look, sir?
Certainly.
I beg your pardon?
Found in the dead man's inside pocket. I didn't mention. Did you lose a letter as well?
No.
Margot
Oh, really?
was found in the dead man.
Oh boy.
I asked you that before, didn't I?
Yes. See, my husband didn't.
We received these 2 notes.
Last October.
Comes in.
Never seen him.
Really?
Anything you say will be taken down and may be used in evidence. Now, never mind.
Yes,
what you
tell
told
the
me
truth.
so far. Do you admit that you killed this man? You did it in self-defense. There were no witnesses.
Well, I heard a series of faint cries. I did hear, Inspector, is perfectly consistent with what my wife told me.
Came to burgle your flat, but there's no evidence of that. Telling you.
Blackmail?
That door was locked, and there were only 2 keys.
You could have let him in.
Are you suggesting she let him in her...
How do you think I got these bruises on my throat?
Those bruises yourself.
So, oh,
We found the twin stocking hidden underneath this blotting pad. One of the heels had been downed with some silk that didn't quite match.
There was a pair of stockings here. Could easily have taken those stockings and done anything with them.
Of course they did. Probably wiped... Now, listen, we had a burglary last night and Margot was attacked. They're suggesting that Margot killed him intentionally.
I wouldn't say that if I were you, sir.
Found at once, Maidavale Police Station. Lawyer will give us any advice we need, thank you.
lawyer. Okay.
Willfully murdered Charles Alexander Swan.
It's a dream.
Guilty.
Oh boy.
To a place of lawful execution.
This one execution sa legal.
I take it you'd do anything to save her life.
We've done it.
Margot was convicted because nobody believed her story. My letter, her stocking, and the fact that because no key was found on Swan, that will convince them that Margot wasn't lying after all.
The police aren't likely to believe anything I might tell them.
Suppose you tell the police that you left your key out here somewhere. Swan is dead. Now, we've got to make the most of that. You can tell any story you like about him now. You met somewhere and you planned this whole thing
It's
together.
his plan.
Swan to come here that night to blackmail her?
No.
Kill Margot?
All you got to do is support everything she said. Don't you see, Tony? That's my whole idea.
And doesn't try and kill the person who
Stole her handbag yourself.
Why should I do that?
You got mad and decided to teach her a lesson. So you wrote those blackmail.
It was found in his pocket.
Where'd you put it there?
When?
It's sometime before the police arrived. Stop.
Find the stocking.
But Mark, why should I want anyone to kill Margot?
Let's face it, they can't hang you for a murder that never came off. Most you'd get to be a few years in prison. All price to pay, Tony. You'd be saving her life.
That's all if it hadn't been for you.
Really?
For instance, how could I possibly have persuaded Swan to do a thing like this? What money? I don't have any.
Yes, you'd have had Margot.
I'm afraid you'll have to think of something better than that.
He's replacing himself.
Oh, hello, Inspector.
All police divisions are asked to keep a lookout for anyone spending large sums of money. I was wondering if you'd sold anything recently for cash. Well, my son, you settled an account there recently for...
Have you been to my bank, Inspector?
Yes. Where did you get it, sir?
Is that any of your business?
Well, if it was stolen money, yes, sir. Hello.
The key.
Is this yours, sir?
No, mine's here.
No, it's not yours. It may be mine, then. Yes, yes, it is mine.
Okay.
Yes, it must have dropped out of the pocket keys. They're all alike. Yes, I'd be grateful if you'd tell me where you got it. After all, £100 is quite a lot to pay. A bill at your tailor's.
Yes, it
and
is.
another for wines and spirits.
I was being caught going to dog racing when my wife was under sentence of death.
Really?
Yes, I know. You a small blue attaché case? Have you lost it?
Yes, I was going to report.
Okay.
£3 an envelope, I believe.
Not 200 or 300.
Tell
Is
me,
that for
Inspector,
them?
how did you... Yes, well, I used it instead of a briefcase, you see.
Yeah. There's a lot of money.
I hope you'll find...
Inspector, before you go, there's something to tell you.
They're deadly lying. Now there's all the money.
Be over £500 here.
This money was to have been paid to a man named Swan after he murdered Mrs. Wendis. It wasn't necessary to pay Swan after all. It's the 27th of March.
Well, Mr. Wenders?
Let
Before
it
you
now.
came in, so that I could inherit all her money. And that isn't all. You remember Mr. Halliday's letter, blackmail notes, and I kept Mr. Halliday's letter and planted it on the body.
That makes much more
Oh,
sense.
he told Swan he'd hide his key somewhere out here. Probably up on this ledge. And he could have taken his key from Swan's pocket before the police got here.
But he let himself in with his own key.
And then replaced the key on the ledge before he came in. It's a question of life and death. What else matters?
What matters to me is where Mr. Wenders got this money. That's all I want to know.
We're being stabbed now.
Just a moment, please.
Mrs. Banks.
Nothing over £53.
Practically every week. 35 pounds.
Saving up
He
all.
could have saved it up.
Kneeling beside Swan's body, going through his pockets. She kept saying,
Really?
the next morning she showed me the money. If anything happens to me, don't let them find this. I was just about to give it to him when she killed him instead.
She's being hanged tomorrow.
Look, all this has been out of
You
my...
admit you arrested the wrong person. But you've made one mistake. She'll change her will. You'll have done it all for nothing, Tony.
Or if his were anyone who believed me.
But not a chance.
No.
If I should get all that money into the bank before somebody pinches it.
Thank
The day's not waiting outside to see me.
He's suspecting something.
There are a few
Sense
things
the call.
belonging to... and a handbag, I believe. They'd like you to come and collect them. Some the desk sergeant. He knows all about it.
He's putting all the money into the bank. He's going in again. He said about again. I don't know. And they need to search this place for once.
I got back in again. Start the ball rolling.
Halliday,
Yeah, dear.
what are you doing here?
Never mind about that, Inspector.
Shut up.
If you want to save Mrs. Wenders, keep quiet and let me handle it.
And this is... This is sleeping.
Saints protect us from the gifted amateur. To prepare yourself for a surprise, Mr.
Margot.
Was that you who rang just now?
Yes,
You got a key. Why didn't you use it?
I did, but has the lock been changed?
May I have your bag a moment? Whose key is this?
I don't know.
It's the wrong key. He put in.
What's going on?
They're strange.
Take this handbag back to the police station and get that car out of the way.
Yes.
You can't walk down the street like that. You'll be arrested.
And then two detectives brought me here. I couldn't get that door in. Supposed to visit me this
Don't
morning,
need
and they
not
said
have
it
all
wouldn't
this.
come.
Fear, but do you think you could tell us what you're up to?
That your husband had planned to murder you. Did you suspect it yourself?
No, never. I don't seem able to feel anything.
In a couple of days, you're going to have the most wonderful breakdown. When did you find out?
Afternoon, I went to the prison and asked to see your handbags, but my blood was up. And then this morning, when your husband was out, I came back here to look at his statement. Through that door, you see, the key didn't fit the lock.
Is he coming in? He's here. Then find the key. Because he's here stuck cord.
Found out about his raincoat. He just came back and couldn't get in. I think he's on his way to the station now. Give Wendis those books and the handbag and make sure he sees the key. Call me back when he leaves the station.
I don't think so.
I
Where's
guess.
Mrs. Wendis?
Half an hour to find it. Use it because he doesn't realize it's there. He still thinks it's in his wife's handbag. You see, you were very key under the stair carpet, Mrs. Wendis, and told him to return it to the same place when he left. It was his little mistake, because Swan
He made a
had done
mistake.
exactly as you returned the key before he came in.
That is
Plot twist.
Swan's own latchkey. Puzzled me that no key was found on Swan's body. A latchkey about with them.
True.
Then because you were the only other person who could possibly have left that key outside out if you knew it was there. You didn't.
I'm going to have that picked up.
Just left the station. Right. Give me a thump if he comes this way. Fit, he'll realize his mistake, put two and two together, and look under the
Stay
stair.
carpet. Oh boy.
He doesn't.
Once he opens that door, we shall know everything.
Then you can arrest
I'm
him.
to phone the nothing else to fear.
He's coming in.
Quiet now, you two.
Hey. He's being interpreted.
Going round to the back entrance. He stopped again. Trying to remember when he put the key back in there. Hold it. He stopped again. He's
He
turned
realized
around.
it. He's coming in.
He's remembered.
The staircase. So he realized he made a mistake. Oh boy.
Congratulations, Inspector. Oh,
He
by the way.
knows.
Well, how about you, Margot? Suppose you're still on duty, Inspector.
It's a really well done movie. The plot twist at the ending there. Guess the moral of the story is you can learn from lying. Will find out eventually. Okay, so I'll end the video there. So subscribe for more movies.